favorite cigarette, we toast you.
Te saludamos, Ricardo. Usted que no ha fumado.
There we go. There we go.
The diet of any high-level athlete is so precise and particular that most of them spend thousands upon thousands of dollars per year seeking the advice of expert nutritionists, ensuring they don't leave any stone unturned in their preparation. And then there's a guy like Ricardo Mayorga. This hard-drinking, heavy-smoking brawler brought an attitude to the pro game that has not been replicated ever since. Basically, just doing whatever the hell he wanted in the lead up to his fights. Sure, having cardio is nice, but for Mayorga, having a cigarette after a hard spar, or even in the middle of one, was the type of luxury that he never wanted to give up. This rebellious attitude didn't end with his diet and addictions. No, Mayorga might have been one of the meanest trash talkers to ever do it.
Dile a tu mujer que te dé huevo en la mañana para que te pares a pelear conmigo. No te vayas a tirar como cuando te tiraste con Bernajoki, playo.
Bringing a different level of ferocity with him whenever he tried to make an enemy of his opponent. Nothing was off limits, and it led to him being involved in some of the wildest feuds you'll ever see. Born in Nicaragua in 1973, Mayorga's boxing career began at the age of 20 when he scored a third-round KO to kickstart his run as a pro.
Goes down in the face of a crunching right cross.
And that time he was seriously hurt.
Yeah, look at the wobbling in Vernon Forest. Marty Dinkins stops the fight. Marty Dinkins stopped the fight.
Over the next 7 years, he would fight exclusively in South and Central America before making his US debut in 2001. And it was a suitably brutal way to kick off his US account. A violent knockout that came after a pretty high-intensity back and forth that showcased Mayorga's willingness to take a punch just so he could land one in return.
He's in the ropes again, and down he goes. It's all over. Kenny Bayless stops the fight.
Cruz eventually broke under the pressure, and Ricardo earned himself a shot at a WBA welterweight gold. The first fight between Andrew Lewis and Mayorga ended with a no contest due to an accidental headbutt.
Yeah, he's got those long heads. That's a good headbutt that time. I'm telling you, that hurt. It's all over? It's all over.
But Mayorga was able to make a comprehensive statement in the rematch, knocking Lewis out in the third round to secure the belt.
And another left hook. Oh my goodness, down goes Lewis.
A gateway that would see Mayorga progress into some high-profile matchups in the years that followed. At this time, we were starting to see Mayorga's notoriety grow as the media caught wind of this world champion level fighter who refused to stop drinking, smoking, and generally living an unhealthy lifestyle. But for Mayorga, it was clearly a case of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
World Ricardo El Matador Mayorga.
If you needed any proof of just how insane this man truly was, the first major test of his career, a clash with the great Felix Trinidad, gave us exactly that. Mayorga did his very best to antagonize Felix throughout the entire build-up to this bout, and he didn't stop when the bout got underway either. No, Mayorga was intent on pushing Trinidad's buttons immediately, dancing and dropping his hands in round one to try to provoke Felix into a war. But Trinidad was a consummate professional, and he proceeded to ignore Mayorga's play acting, putting on a confident performance that ended in brutal fashion in round 8 when Felix capitalized on Ricardo's lapse in defense, putting him down with a clean set of punches to score the victory.
Another savage left hook by Trinidad. Mayorga goes down for the third time, and Steve Smoger.
But even though he did lose, and trust us, he does this often, Mayorga's notorious reputation would secure him a host of big money fights before all was said and done. And when he took on Oscar De La Hoya, his verbal assault on the fan favorite was all kinds of ugly. This is truly where Mayorga's craziness began to bubble over, marking one of the wildest rivalries of the era.
Yo soy el campeón, tú no eres nadie. Tú no eres nadie, Marito. Deme respeto a a mí. Deme respeto a mí. No te me acerques más que te voy a pegar un golpe. No te me acerques más. Deme respeto a mí. Maricón. ¿Ese qué?
But unfortunately, Mayorga, as a boxer, was not up to the level of a true great like Oscar. And on fight night, De La Hoya well and truly dominated the bout, breaking Mayorga early with several hugely damaging moments. It was a tour de force from the Golden Boy, and you could really tell that he wanted to push this man badly for his behavior. In the 6th round, when the finish came, it stood as further proof of Oscar's status as one of the very best fighters in the sport. But if you think that Mayorga took this as a slice of humble pie, think again. Mayorga really did need to power his way to a victory here. Momentum was on his side in terms of his infamy within the sport, but he was starting to find a certain amount of inconsistency in big fights.
How much of this is to sell the pay-per-view? The tickets are sold out, basically. The Staples Center.
I don't need to sell out. I mean, I thank God, you know, each fight that I've gone, that I've fought, you know, anywhere, Chicago, Texas, Arizona, it all sells out. So I'm very thankful and humble to God for everything He's blessed me and my family with. And I keep him close to me.
But even though Fernando Vargas was on the verge of his retirement, this still marked a tough challenge for Mayorga to overcome. And once again, he made no effort to be friendly with his opponent before this one kicked off.
There we go. There we go. See? Yeah, that's what y'all want to see.
And this heat and intensity was carried over to the fight itself, and the display of grit and determination from Mayorga, plus a big late knockdown, was enough to see him take home the win. A very solid and much-needed victory for the Nicaraguan.
A knockdown with just seconds remaining, scored by Ricardo.
In favor of the winner, he is now the WBC Continental America Super Middleweight Champion, Ricardo El Matador Mayorga.
A fight for the vacant WBC Super Middleweight title was next up for Mayorga, and over the course of 12 rounds, he would put together a winning performance, capturing another major title, although his reign was incredibly short.
And Pichrillo has survived. Mayorga will be the champion. Although he couldn't quite get up on that roll.
Mayorga really crossed the line when it came to fighting the great Shane Mosley, slapping his girlfriend on her backside while they were on stage together. Something that damn near kicked off a violent brawl.
And you're gonna kill his ass, beat his ass. I want to just see you kicking his
And sure enough, Mosley decided to go out there when it mattered most and truly punish this man, using every possible second of the fight to put damage on Mayorga. In fact, the TKO didn't arrive until the final second of round 12, meaning that Mosley had the maximum possible chance to punish Ricardo while still being able to claim the finish. It was a tough loss for Mayorga, and further proof that his wild lifestyle was not breeding the type of results that he needed.
The winner by knockout victory, the pride of Pomona, California. He's so sweet, he's sugar.
We got a vintage display of antagonistic behavior from Ricardo in the lead up to his fight with Miguel Cotto, where he promised the world that he would expose his veteran opponent as punch drunk.
Make a promise here today that I'm gonna knock him out. He's punch drunk, he can't take a shot anymore, and I'm not finished with him, I'm gonna retire him.
And too heavily damaged over the years. When the fight kicked off, Mayorga displayed all of the grit and forward movement you'd expect, but Cotto was just more technical, more patient, and from the opening round, adhered to a better game plan. We saw Mayorga try to coax his opponent into making a mistake. but Cotto stayed composed, ignoring the taunting while continuing to apply pressure up until he eventually made Mayorga quit in the final round. A brief signal to the referee was all it took for Miguel Cotto to take home an impressive win. It wasn't a good look for Mayorga and proof that he was slipping.
The WBA Super Welterweight Champion of the world, Miguel Cotto.
But even still, if you think that this might have caused him to quit the drinking and smoking, think again. By the time the rematch with Mosley came around, Mayorga was clearly on the decline, hanging on to the final shred of relevancy he had. Mosley was also getting on in age, but he still had more than enough in the tank to confidently shut down his rival in the middle rounds. The body shot served as the killing blow here, and it did look like Ricardo quit on himself, or at least that's the kind of image we were left with.
He's not going to get up, and that's it.
From there, Mayorga's career began to fizzle out. His loss to Mosley led to a rebound win back home in Nicaragua. But after that, he lost 3 fights in a row before retiring with a pro record of 32 wins, 12 losses, 1 draw, and 1 no contest. He was never a true number 1 in his division, nor did he make much of a splash at a pound-for-pound level. But Ricardo Mayorga was one of the wildest characters to ever compete in the squared circle. A man who took the idea of being a villain to a different level entirely. It makes you wonder if he could have been better without the excessive drinking and smoking. But who knows? Maybe it was all part of it.